what's up? It is your good friend Rafa Spars. I know it's late. It's late for me too, but we're gonna deal with it. This guest is very busy. I am occasionally busy, but he had a major thing happen to him over the weekend, and I want to chat with him. And he's a friend of our show. And more importantly, shut up. You don't want to go to sleep. You want to stay up for a few minutes and chat with Ricky Lulle as well. But you know what? Here's the thing. You can, if you so deem it, you can go ahead and chat with us in the chat section. But it's not every day you qualify to go to a combat jiu-jitsu worlds. So I thought it was important that when you have to beat your own brethren in a gladiator type atmosphere at HQ, that we bring on the man who earned his ticket over to the March 8th Combat Jiu-Jitsu Worlds competition coming up. You know him, we know him. He is a good friend of our show. Please welcome back our friend Ricky Lulle. Ricky, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing good. Just relaxing after practice now.
How long has it been since you've been able to bid off the mats? Like, how long are we talking here of a break that you've had?
Since class just ended?
Yeah, like how long since then?
9 o'clock, and I drive home, have a 30-minute drive home. So, yeah, it's been about an hour.
Okay. Well, again, it's very nice of you to take the time out to go ahead and chat with us. I know it's not always easy to get out of those sorts of things, but I appreciate it, man. Let's do this because I mean, I've interviewed you before on site coverage, and obviously, whenever you've competed, we always see each other here and there. How did the whole combat trials come together for you, sir?
Well, I've done a few of the trials over at HQ already, and every time it's just Scott Ross just messages me and asks me if I want to do it, and I'm pretty much always down for it. So. I always just say yeah. Usually, I've done a few at 135, and this one was at 145. So just let me know the date and just ready to go.
When he sends that to you, though, does he already kind of know that you're gonna do it? Does he just is it an informality of like he's asking you, but he already knows like, hey Ricky, just see you Saturday. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I'm assuming they know I'm gonna do it, but. Maybe I have something else going on, but this is pretty much what I do. So, yeah.
So let me ask this, dude. It is a weird vibe because the 10th Planet community is very tight, but on these days, it's tense. Like, I'm not even there live, but I'm watching it, and I feel like, holy fuck, that feels like its own major competition that you wouldn't even see if you go to, like, a local competition and see you guys go up against each other. Is it a different vibe? Am I wrong on
this? It is kind of like that, but I mean, I grew up wrestling also, so like the team that we practice with, like really good friends, those are the same people that we may have to wrestle off for like the main spot on the team. And I have a brother a year younger than me, and I had to wrestle him off a few times when I was a sophomore and he was a freshman. So, I mean, I've had to wrestle my own brother for like the main spot, So, I guess I've been in that before.
So, if that is the case, and you did have that with your brother, how did those go?
I beat him every time, but I was a little bigger than him though. Like he was like 90 pounds as a freshman, and I was too, but I got bigger as a sophomore. So that was the only year we've had to wrestle for the spot. But he could get me now though. He's he's a lot bigger than me now, and he coaches at a junior college in Idaho. So
does he ever bring that up at any point?
Nah, we don't talk about that, but we know that was in the past because we wrestle now, and he could put it on me. So
I mean, that really is the way that it is bred within wrestlers. So
that
does make sense to me. That part checks out. The part that doesn't check out to me is the fact that for you guys though, you do have Eddie there, so there's a little bit of pressure of like Master Eddie is there. Then on the other side, there's a real thing. Like all of you want to go to represent. Like there's an additional honor of being like, listen, you have meets, you have friendly rivalries that go on in wrestling, but this is for the honor to then go on and represent for the entire 10th Planet system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me about the day that this goes on. So, how does your day start? Let's go from there.
Well, just it was in LA, so I know we had a few people who had to fly in to go to this.
Mhm.
So I'm just lucky it's a hour and a half drive from where I'm at. So just make sure I'm on weight. I don't really cut too much to get to 145. I usually walk around like at 150,
Mm.
and just make sure I'm on weight. Drive up that morning. It's just an hour after weigh-ins that we start going. So we all just stand in front of. I know this last time we just were standing in front of the gym, waiting for them to show up so we could weigh in. Um, make sure just wait in with Donna over there, and then right after that, just ate a little bit, got some coffee, and just warmed up, ready to go.
Okay. So, what does your first match look like, and who's it against?
Um, Man, I wanna. It's like a little hard to remember some of their names right now, but
Okay.
I want to say his name was Chris Crawford, I would say.
Okay.
But we had it was a 16-man bracket, but there were four purple belts there who they had a little four-man bracket, and winner of them got in the 16-man. So yeah, so I went against him, the winner of the that one first. Um, so he already had a match or two before he went against me. Um, but I had him first, and I've been working a lot of guard passing lately, a lot of smash passing, and getting really dangerous with the arm triangle. So that's pretty much what happened in that match. Just got to the pass and got to my position.
Now, I was in and out of watching it live, but I did see the arm triangle happening, and it's a particularly interesting instrument to have for a wrestler
Uh huh.
because you get used to breaking down that position, and you know that normally if you can get to a pinning predicament, that's a really bad situation for a number of reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
So to me, to see that in your arsenal is like, yeah, that makes sense, and that's a very valuable weapon. Did that happen more than once in the tournament?
Um, yeah, and in the semis with Gabe, also he's in Texas now, but he was in San Diego for a long time, and I've had a lot of roles with him, and the same thing happened in that one. Just worked to get past the guard, and I did get to the arm triangle also. But I barely added that submission to my game within the last 6 months. Like,
What?
yeah, I
Are you
don't know
serious?
why.
That looked
Yeah,
clean, dude. Like, cause I looked at
yeah.
that and I was like, I mean, you could have fooled me, dude. It looked like it had been part of your repertoire for a little while.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't have it before. I've drilled it and had it okay, but never able to hit it in live rolls at practice.
Hmm.
And I was just tell myself like, why don't I have this? I see other strong like top players with just dangerous with that. So finally just had to really focus on that.
Well, it looked very good, and I gotta say, dude, I know, you and Gabe have had many a roll together, but I recently got the chance when I did go down to visit everybody in San Diego. I want to say for,
Okay.
um, was it the Dream BJJ tournament? I was shooting photos there, and I finally
Hmm.
said, you know what, I've never been to Boogie's. I gotta finally go, and I did,
Yeah.
and I visited him, and I visited PJ's place, and it was my first time in a long time, I think, rolling with Gabe, and
Okay.
it's a lot, So he's not an easy person to submit.
No, yeah, he's tough. I've had a few, I mean, rolls with him at open mat, but then in competition, that was probably our second or third time also, and usually takes some time to get to him. So
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is tough to open up.
absolutely. So that was the semi. That means that there was a match in between the first match and Gabe, right?
Yeah. Yes. This dude, think he's from it's Portland, I think.
Okay,
Kevin.
okay,
I don't know if you've seen that one, but there was a little like mix up, I guess, at the end of that one. So I couldn't get the submission on him. Same thing, just working my guard passing, trying to get to basically just the arm triangle again. But he kept like I'd mount him and he would recover from there. Couldn't really get any underhooks on him. But at the end, it went to riding time with the 3 rounds of EBI overtime, and they said that he won at first. So they raised his hand, and then I just pretty much went to shower and was about to leave, and then they said that I ended up winning it. So, yeah. So somebody, I think it was Josh Jackson. Like I think he texted Eddie or something and said that to recount it because they did it wrong, and they did recount it and they did do it wrong, I guess. So like that was a little mix up.
Okay.
That was
Here's
weird.
an important thing. I mean, we've had some
Uh
time to digest this.
huh.
Was weed the culprit here?
No,
Was
no,
somebody too
no.
stoned that they're like, oh shit, dog, I forgot.
Well, I don't think so. It was Donna, I think, doing the timing,
Oh
and
no.
so they're supposed to do it. From my understanding, it was a minute and two that they had to add up. So they're supposed to do that in 62 seconds, and they did 102. So that added like a lot of time to my pretty much my overall time.
Did you know that
So
afterwards? Did it seem odd
um,
to you?
I knew it was really close, so I wasn't questioning it. But I did rewatch it yesterday, and I heard them say that he won by a minute and a half. So after I heard that, then I'm more questioning it. But at the moment, I was just like, all right, I'm about to just shower and head home.
Because okay, and I want to ask about that in a second, but you have to understand, we're so trained with everything 10th planet to add the phrase "look into it." So like any conspiracy that
Yeah.
happens back to the people who cry conspiracy becomes
Uh-huh.
a thing where you're like, oh no. So when that does
Yeah.
happen, obviously, I'm glad they were able to rectify it, but there was a real
Yeah.
possibility you could have left.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny because I showered and I was in the mindset that I lost, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And then after my finals match, I shower again, and I'm in the same spot like an hour later. Like, oh damn, I won this! Like, it's just completely different feelings. So,
But I'm talking, dude. You've been competing for years. You know what I mean? Have you
yeah,
ever had anything as weird as that happen to you?
no, no. Never. Like usually whatever the call is, yeah, it's over. And yeah, I don't know why there was that mix up. And like you said, we're all about, or a lot of people are about like conspiracy theories. And I was even thinking like after they switched it to me who won, I didn't want people saying like anything weird about
Right.
that, like. So I did time it though, like myself when I got home yesterday too, and I did end up winning by a few seconds. So
Okay.
so there's nothing sketchy there, but it was just weird
I mean,
how
maybe,
that did
but
happen.
I mean, you didn't go home and John Jones it and be like, "Yeah, I looked at the tape. I won rounds 3 through 4 and 5."
Yeah.
Because my favorite is they put up John Jones as a quote right after his fight, and he just goes, "We're confident we won." And people like chime in, and I was like, "What do you expect them to say?" Yeah,
Uh-huh.
upon further review, the other guy won. I was like, "No one in the right mind is ever going to say that."
Yeah, I've heard that. I didn't get a chance to watch that fight. It was the night before the competition, and I actually stayed at Gio's because I was watching his pets. He was in Texas, so I was just relaxing and just chilling before the matches.
I like to imagine that once you step into Gio's place, you're already in an inebriated state, just
Uh-huh.
just from the smell of it. You probably walk in and you're just like, I wasn't high before, but now I am, dog. Um, well, again, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, me too.
When they did say though, you're
Hmm.
back in after you get out of the shower. What's the
Uh-huh.
first thing that went through your head?
I was really just hoping that like they are right that I won. Like there wasn't any more of a mix up or anything like that. And once they did tell me I was in, I was like just thinking, all right, how long till my next match? And I was up in a few minutes, so I just changed again and was ready to go. I had an extra clothes, luckily, so.
Well, because everybody knows there's nothing worse than having to put back on a rash guard that
Yes.
is already wet.
Uh-huh.
and I don't know how to explain it. It's like once it comes off, it's gone from a shape that just doesn't adhere to anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're
I
the
took
exact same shape, and it just won't work anymore.
yeah, I took like 2 pairs of clothing, so I was prepared for it.
Smart man. Otherwise, you could have very well been in someone else's gear
Dude,
in a
yeah,
baggy ass gear.
I would have had to borrow somebody's because I wasn't gonna put my clothes back on. I already had them in a dirty bag, and yeah.
It's fair. Well, I mean, God, that's such a weird thing because I remember, I came back into it and I didn't know the situation fully. I
Yeah.
just saw the tail end of Eddie being like, that's weird how it happened, and like, and like he's explaining his way through it, and I go,
Yeah.
shit, like I don't
Yeah.
know what that means.
I had a multiple people from like that were just watching me compete at it say they turned it off after that, and then they turned it on a little bit later, and I was in the finals. So yeah, a few people were confused by that.
Well, again, glad it worked out. Now talk me through your final.
So that one, man, I think his name was Sam, from the same school from as my second match, from Oregon,
Mm-hmm.
and he was tough. He my first 3 matches I was more thinking go to mount and get the arm triangle. And on this guy, I with how the match played out, I was more getting snapping his head to like front headlocks, trying to get some chokes going. But he was really good at hopping over to the good side, the safe side, when I was getting his head going for some guillotines or some anacondas.
Mm.
So he did that probably like 5 or 6 times, just hopped over to the other side and ended up on top of me. So thinking about it, I mean, I should have eventually just tried to get to the back or a different position, but yeah, that's pretty much how the match played out. Like me getting headlocks, him hopping to the other side, and we did go to overtime in that one. So I was able to get a full Nelson in that one, in the first round of the overtime.
Let's chat about that. Because that's rare.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen Anthony Burchek do it.
Tony seems to
Tony.
do it pretty well.
Yeah,
He talks a big game about it, and he explains it super well. But my thing
yeah,
is always like, I look at that, I'm like, well, I know I can't do that. Like my brain just doesn't first wire to connect arms like
yeah.
that. So to interlock them, it takes a second, even though it makes perfect sense. But to wrestlers, comes a little bit more easier. So what happened there?
Well, in wrestling, full Nelsons are illegal. Also, they're illegal.
Sorry, pro
So
wrestling.
you could.
I should probably preface that. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, for that, I've almost got that in practice a few times. They like if I have the seatbelt on them, they go to the non-choking side, trying to put their head to the mat, and I'll lift their head up with my choking arm, pretty much my top arm.
Mm-hmm.
I'll lift their head up off the mat and get one, like a half Nelson basically, with my bottom arm.
Mm-hmm.
So only one arm behind his neck. And when I do that at practice, I try to get the second arm in to finish the full Nelson, but they usually go down really tight with that arm to prevent that, just right away. And in the match, he really reached back really far with his second arm to like peel it off. So just reaction, like I didn't even really think about it, just felt it or seen it and just went for it, I guess. And I just pushed his head forward as hard as I could and got the quick tap.
Because I saw it, and
Uh-huh.
I don't tend to say bad words about you.
Uh-huh.
I don't really have any beef with you, either facetiously or real beef. But I looked at you, and my first reaction was, "Oh, fuck off!" Like, you know what I mean? Like, of
Yeah.
course you're gonna finish with a full Nelson on there, but that's pretty cool, man. So, okay.
Yeah.
Now, who is going to represent you guys on the 8th?
On the 8th,
Yes.
so it was Gio, but he's having some, like, he couldn't do the last one because of something with his heart. Like, not, I guess it's not the biggest deal, but something with the, like, irregular heartbeat or something like that.
Okay.
He just can't get past, so he's not doing it anymore. And Kevin is going in as the other guy. He runs the Poway location. So he's going to be tough at 145 and
It
really
doesn't make
lengthy.
any sense. Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand how he can cut.
Uh-huh.
Like,
He,
what does Kevin weigh right now?
so he was in Oceanside yesterday, and he did the noon class, and I think he was high 60s. So yeah, it's probably like a 20-pound or a little more cut for him, but he's skinny already
Yeah, I mean,
also.
I've seen him cut, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not worried as much about the cut. It's just his body type at that weight
Yeah,
is absurd. Like, I'm thinking of the people that they've already announced, and the differentium in just
definitely.
length is going to be
Hmm.
something to behold, even if they weigh in at the same weight that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely really lengthy and a tough game. So it's gonna be good to see how he does. I know he was in another 145-pound EBI before, I
Mm-hmm.
think, but he got Eddie Cummings first round. So that's a tough match.
Yes. Well, I'm astounded that it's because when I heard it was Kevin, and Kevin's somebody that looks like
Yeah,
he can go in multiple weight classes. So when they announced
yeah,
Kevin Yu, I was like, what weight class was this again?
yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
definitely. I don't know how he makes that weight either,
it's impressive.
but he
Um,
does it.
well, what does that mean to you, dude? Like, what does getting to compete on that stage and represent your team and by proxy your system? What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. Like I said, I've done a few of the qualifiers already, and going there to show, like, because Gio's usually he is the main guy, so he's got the invited spot usually. This time it did have to go to Kevin, but going to the qualifiers and showing that I am the next person behind him really does mean a lot to me because we work hard at the gym, and I love just being a part of the 10th Planet system and being able to show just what we do, like representing the Oceanside and the Freaks. Just really means a lot just to show we are the top people.
And I think it's cool. I mean, like, you are part of that wing of 10th Planet that has always put wrestling at a forefront, and now, between you, PJ,
Yeah.
Luis, like, you've got this nice army of guys that are implementing that game as well. So it's like you've always been part of that cornerstone of guys that, traditionally they'll be like, oh, 10th Planet won't wrestle you. And I was like, well, it depends on which
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Don't say that as a blanket statement, because if you draw PJ, I feel very bad for you.
Yeah, PJ's really tough. We've had on Wednesdays,
Mm-hmm.
like PJ, Boogie, Kevin, a few others have been going down to Oceanside for the noon class, and so I've been rolling with PJ a little bit the past few weeks, and man, it's always such a tough roll, and we stand up a little bit, and he's got some good stuff from the feet.
And he's somebody who, because he hasn't competed because of injury,
Yeah.
now has that little extra gene of, like, he wants it again.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
that I feel bad for more of the folks who will be competing against him. I've always wanted to ask this, though, Ricky. I know that martial arts starts for you with wrestling, as far as I'm concerned. When does that
Yeah.
start? Like, at what age did you start wrestling?
So I did a little bit off and on in elementary school. Like, in Blythe, where I'm from, they didn't have the best kid programs there. So it was just off and on. I'd go to some random tournaments, but it was something I knew I was going to do when I got older for sure. And I pretty much started full time in middle school. So did a few years there, and then did high school, and then I actually took a year or two off and didn't do any after high school. I took a year or two off and I just went to college for a little bit, and then I got back into it and did 2 years at the junior college down here at Palomar.
Was it hard to re-implement? Because, to most athletes, if you compare it and you say like you take 2 years off, obviously there's a little bit of
Yeah.
a little bit of a comeback that you have to get used to and reacclimate. With wrestling, you take a week off and you're not even the same person. So, what was
Yeah.
that reacclimation process like?
Um, it wasn't too bad because I mean, I had friends on the team over here at Palomar already. My brother, he was already there. I'm a year older than him, so he did a red shirt year, the year that I wasn't there, and then we did the next 2 years there together. And it's not like I got super out of shape. I mean, I wasn't in wrestling shape, but I mean, I didn't let myself go too bad or anything during that year. So once I did get back in, I still liked wrestling. It's not like I wasn't a fan of it anymore. So it took a little bit of time, like I'd say just a month or two to get my cardio back up. And yeah, it was just once I started again, it was just haven't stopped since.
So, how did jiu-jitsu find its way to you? How did you make the transition from wrestling to jiu-jitsu?
So I went to Palomar College, like I said. It's a junior college in San Marcos, and I don't know what the tournament was called, but my there was a poster for it in the locker room, and that was the year that my brother redshirted. So I wasn't there that year, but he seen it, and then he told my dad about it, and they both went to do it with no jiu-jitsu experience. And since then, my dad stayed in it, and me and my brother was still wrestling, so he didn't do jiu-jitsu after that. He just stayed wrestling. But after that, my dad was doing it, so we just started doing it when we finished wrestling. But I took jiu-jitsu really serious after I finished wrestling. My brother, like I said, he's coaching a college team, so he's still big into wrestling. But he is a purple belt.
I want to ask this because this is fascinating to me. I couldn't fathom wrestling, let alone jiu-jitsu, with my dad. What is that like?
um, I mean, right now it's fun. Like he's a purple belt also. My dad and brother are. Um, My dad trains down here in Oceanside. He was in Omaha for a bit, but he's down here with us now, and it's good. Like we have a good relationship, and I feel like that does bring us closer. But I do feel like in high school, when he would wrestle me or coach me in certain times, like I guess sometimes I would get frustrated or something like with certain things that he did. But right now, like I mean, ever since I got a little older, we have just we've never had a horrible relationship at all. But when I was younger, just some things got to me, I guess.
To be fair, I mean, you had two different extremes. First is when you're a kid and your parents are being your parents,
Uh
you're
huh.
always still a kid and being like, I wanna do
Yeah.
that. But there is something to be said about wrestling dads, where there
Yeah.
is no
Yeah.
BS.
Uh huh.
So like, and not to say that there aren't some bad wrestling dads, but for the most
Mm.
part, they will be hard on you, but for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes it takes a little while to learn that appreciation and to make it a thing. But I think the fact that you can share that together,
Hmm.
it's something that not a lot of generations get to do because it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah. The past two. He's been here about 4 or 5 months. He's been back in Oceanside, and the past 2 months he's been going like Monday through Friday to the gym. So he's really been taking it. He's been off and on for a few years with jujitsu. Just certain things happen, but really happy with how much he's been going in lately. And we get rolls in, and it's fun having him and my uncle there also
That's dope.
training.
Now, Ricky, do you heel hook your dad?
I I don't maybe not heel hooks, but I get some other submissions on him. It's probably I would say it's him more going for my legs than me going for his.
And as he should.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing. you're still young. I don't know that you understand this. When I start using heel hooks,
Uh
one, take it as a compliment. Two, it means I have to break into my emergency case
huh.
because it's like, okay, this kid is getting out of control. So
Uh
I've got to make sure that I chop down their legs so that they don't murder me anymore because they're young and fast and strong. And I don't got time for that shit.
huh.
So, yeah,
He
no.
has told me like 2 weeks ago that he wants me to go over passing with him. Like he wants to improve on that. But yeah, he does go for my legs pretty often.
And you know what? The weird part is, it's rude if you do it to your dad. I'll just tell you that.
Uh
So,
huh.
because I'll tell you this much, I think the funniest thing about getting older and doing jujitsu is having to explain to people at your job when you're an
Mhm.
adult, and this isn't what you do full time. Being like, oh, what's wrong with your leg? Oh, my friend heel hooked me, and they're like, why
Uh huh.
would they do that? Oh, it's cool. It's just kind of what we do. And he got
Yeah.
me that day. And they're like, well, aren't you mad at him? I should have tapped. It's my fault. Like other
Yeah.
people, civilians. So just,
Yeah. I feel like I get more satisfaction passing your guard and wearing you out. Like I like putting my chest in your face and making it hard to breathe.
yep, sounds pretty much like a wrestler. Yep. And it's very funny, man, because um, I, I think it is such a precise picture of the game that I've seen you compete with, and it's representative. When I see a wrestling game, I see a nice addition to complement the form of jiu-jitsu that people don't always get to see. So that's why I'm kind of excited for you. Like, how do you feel about the slaps though? Because
um.
it's kind of weird in the sense that you've gotten so used to combat in wrestling, which is an adjustment to jiu-jitsu, which
Yeah.
now you're saying like, oh, by the way, when you get a suplex, then once they're on the ground, you could slap the shit out of them.
Yeah. I don't. I mean, and I love. Like I don't mind in wrestling if you bump heads or
Sure.
anything like that. It's a physical sport, but definitely the slaps will be different. I'm just thinking about like just open palm strikes, like really straight. Like it could hurt you still, like straight to the nose or something, you know.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely something I'm gonna have to think about and get used to, or just figure out a game. But
Well, make sure that they run that through with you because I've seen notable MMA guys
uh
who that's what they do. And yet, when they've been in these matches, they
huh.
sometimes forget like palm, right, strike.
Uh
Like it's just, and I'm like, they're good at striking. How the fuck did they forget that?
yeah.
So I'm sure you're training for it. It's so weird to add that in when it's not quite MMA. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
quite what you do.
Yeah, it is gonna be different, but because yeah, I don't plan to fight MMA at all. Like I'm not for getting
Good.
punched or kicked or anything like that. I really like wrestling and jujitsu, just grappling. So
Well, listen, dude. I know we could do this for a while, and hopefully we can put a pin in this conversation with the hopes that when I go cover it live, I can be talking to you again at the very end of the evening. But I know you've got stuff coming up, so obviously that is going to be March 8th that you're competing. That's over at the Orpheum. If you guys haven't gotten your tickets, get it now. But I also know that you are doing a wrestling seminar over here in Southern California with the Ariola
yes,
brothers, and that is on April
yes.
18th. Tell me a little bit about that, and what can people expect from that, man?
So that it's gonna be a donation based one. So just go over there and think it's minimum like $20. So if you just want to learn, it's gonna be pretty much strictly wrestling. Some stuff that really works with my jujitsu game. Just teaching little drills that'll help you out. It's all about drills and doing them constantly. So just gonna figure something out, something good to teach. I'm gonna take a good friend of mine. I ever came up wrestling with him, Kyle Vexler. He's gonna go up with me and just be a demonstration partner, and we'll probably get some rolls or just wrestling with people afterwards, and just go have a good time up there.
That's pretty dope, dude. Well, I look forward to that. That is obviously going to be April 18th. I will be sharing that information on the Grappling Hour pages. I'll make sure that people know about it. Rich and his brother are amazing. They're savages as well, and they teach great wrestling classes over there. So I've gotten to take that. And if I am available, I will definitely try and make it out there because you're too far. Every time you put up something cool that you're doing for wrestling, it's in San Diego. I don't got time for that, kid.
Yeah, it's so nice over here, though.
Of course it's nice over there.
Oceanside.
But you know what happens is, I don't know how to explain this to people. If I go down to San Diego, right? It's the 2 hours down and the 2 hours back, right?
Okay.
So you add in the training. You guys, you're conditioned to that. If I do any kind of wrestling-based sort of a thing, even locally here, and I come back home, I'm like, fuck, I need to sleep. I'm tired. That took it out of me. So you mean to tell me that after I do some kind of cool training with y'all down there, that I would have to drive up for 2 hours, I would probably have to pull over and sleep before I make it back up.
Yeah, it does wear you out, but I mean, we'll get some good food after and make you even more tired.
Not gonna help. It's just gonna put me into a worse coma. But I've always seen you put out your stuff, and that says, you're doing those like special workshop days out in San Diego, and we always try to pay it forward and show those things that you're doing because I respect your game. I like what you do, and I hope that people can learn from that. So if they're around on the 18th. Obviously, that's great, but if they can't come out then, you're always in San Diego. You're pretty easy to find out that way. Always training over at the ocean sides.
Yeah.
And I got to say this, man. I'm very much looking forward to March 8th for you guys. I know that you work hard, and I'm very happy to see that you got the opportunity.
All right, thank you. I'm ready to go just rep and show what's my jiu-jitsu game.
Well, I think you're going to do a good job, and I believe I will be there covering that. That is Sunday, March 8th. Over at the Orpheum Theater. You can find tickets where you're supposed to find tickets. I don't get a kickback from any of this, so I'm not getting shit. In the meantime, what I am going to put for you guys as we close out right now, I just want to say thank you guys. If you are not following us, go follow us on our YouTube page. It is a goal that we have made this year for 2,500 subscribers, so if you haven't done it yet, don't be dumb. Go support us. We've got a lot of cool shit coming out very soon, and more importantly, I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. We're closing out this episode with a nice little vignette of a little thing that we did over at Hop Merchants. The very nice people where I got to do an interview with our good friend Milton Aguayo. And I hope you guys like it. But in the meantime, it's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you on the mats. Hey, this is Raf Esparza, host of the Grappling Hour. I just wanted to take a moment to show you why I love Hop Merchants. Located in the NoHo Arts District, Hop Merchants combines the at-home feel of your local tavern with the perfect setting for trivia, board games, or a great place to stop in right after a hard day of work. The owners are craft beer enthusiasts who are happy to share their wealth of knowledge on their favorite IPAs and who also make it their mission to make sure that you find the right beer you're looking for. If you find yourself in the Valley and are a craft beer aficionado, a visit to Hop Merchants is a no-brainer. We recently filmed the premiere segment of our craft beer interview series there, and as shots like these demonstrate, they know exactly how to make you feel right at home.